Right, here we go. So, hello to anybody who's there. I'd love you to give me a wave if you're on, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, so that I know that both are working. So if you could just pop a comment into the box below, that would be brilliant. So I've got a couple of people watching, I believe. So if you could just pop a comment in and just let me know if you're on YouTube or Facebook, and just so that I can be sure that both are working as they should, please. That would just really be helpful for me. Anybody post a comment for me just to make sure that everything's working? I can see people are joining. If you could just wave to me in the comments. I just need to know that both Facebook and YouTube are connected. Hello, John. That's great. Thank you for letting me know that you're there. Are you on Facebook or YouTube? Which is working for you? I'm not getting any comments through. I just want to check that everybody can hear me and see me. So if somebody could comment, please, that would be really helpful. YouTube's working. That's great. Hello to the Selwood household. Are you on YouTube or Facebook? If you're on Facebook, could you just let me know so that I know that's working as well? And then I know I'm ready to go. That's great, John. Thank you. I'm glad you can hear clearly. That's good. That's great. Oh, hi, Charlotte. Are you on Facebook, Jackie and Charlotte, or are you on YouTube? Oh, you're on Facebook. I can see. That's brilliant. Wonderful. Okay. So let me just get that comments thing off the screen here. There we go. Right. So welcome, everybody. It's just fantastic that you've joined me this evening. I am so grateful that you've taken out time from your day to come and join me. I'm just going to, before we really get going, if there's anybody else you would like to invite to join, who you think might enjoy it, please just, I'll give you a second just to share to them as well, and then we'll get going. So, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so grateful to you for taking time out of your day to join me for this session. For those of you who don't know how I work, who've never worked with me before, I'm just going to quickly explain how I work and what you can expect. So I will chat through everything that comes up in the session because I think it's very important for you to know the contents of the session because it's your session after all. There's no sense of judgment with anything that comes up. Everything comes up purely to be rebalanced so that you feel better. That's what I'm working with here as an idea. Try not to hang on to any particular aspect. Some things may resonate more than others and be interesting, but it's the session as a whole that will be working. So yeah, don't get too hung up on any particular detail. Now, the theme is to balance fear and to allow you a greater sense of calm. It may be that something else develops as a theme as we start the session, but overall, with the period that we're in at the moment, this seems like an appropriate place to start. And my intention is for all of you to experience, each one of you to experience at least one benefit from the session. And this will apply whether you're here with me live or whether you either watch or listen on catch up. So, all right, I'm just going to calm my mind. So if you want to get comfortable, you can be sitting, you can be lying, you can watch, you can close your eyes. It's entirely up to you. So I'm just going to calm my mind and then we'll get going. Okay. So the first thing I'm aware of is doubt and uncertainty, and it's a sense of being pulled, this way and that way. This could be input from the news. It could be uncertainty from work. Uncertainty about the future, worrying about the past. All these things are just popping into my awareness to start the session off. So perhaps now just take a couple of nice calming breaths just to relax and get into your body and come into the current moment. So I'm aware of the stomach. Now in Chinese medicine, the stomach represents, well, obviously it's to do with digestion on a physical level, but it's also to do with, in the bigger picture, digestion of life. It's also to do with the conscious mind. And we've got spleen coming up as well. So this in Chinese medicine is all to do with worry and anxiety, and also the immune system, obviously, as well. So we've got all these different factors. You'll see as we go through that the way that I work, things often have potentially multiple ways of looking at them, and that's fine. We don't have to home in on anything specific necessarily, because your body will know what to balance on what level. So that's all as it should be. That's fine. So there's a focus on circulation of the lymph and the white blood cells. So we're focusing on immunity here. And the consciousness that movement is needed to allow the lymph to circulate around the body. The blood has the heart to pump it around, but the lymph doesn't. So we need to move in order to encourage movement of the lymph. So that's just that awareness coming in to the session as well. Okay, now I'm aware of this whole fight or flight mechanism, all the parts of the body that are engaged when fear is the fear and anxiety are the major force that is present. And there's this awareness of fear and anxiety and this underlying panic. And I just remember I said there's no sense of judgment. Everything that comes up in a neutral way to be rebalanced, okay, so that you feel better. So we're just shining a light on these things in order for them to rebalance. Okay. So this panic is connecting to that initial awareness that I had of being pulled in different directions. It's to do with, maybe your awareness is being pulled in different directions by things you hear people say. Then there's the news, and there's lots of different opinions flying around. So we've got all of that, just exercising pressure on us energetically. And so this is what's being got at here and is involved with this fear response. So we're focusing now on the solar plexus. So that's just here. And it's the solar plexus is all to do with your sense of self. It's to do with your sense of personal power. It's also to do with receiving. And what we've got here around the solar plexus is the phrase, I am safe. So this is really to counteract this fear awareness that has just been, that we've just been focusing on. And we've got heart energy coming into the solar plexus as well. This sense of warmth, a sense of connection to your core being. So this is deep. This is away from all the stuff of the external world. This is to do with your core being and connection to that. And we've got the breath coming in around that. So it's this sense of calm and of space and of being as opposed to doing. And again, back to this focus on the breath. And to this, and a focus on your core, on that central aspect of yourself. This is to do with reconnecting with that, coming back into yourself. To that peaceful place as opposed to the noise of the external world. And there's a sense of grounding involved with this as well. It's a state of being of where everything feels like it's in the right place. Everything feels calm. There's that connection with the earth. So there's the allowing of any tension to flow down and out into the earth, and at the same time the allowing of earth energy to flow up into you. I'm obviously standing here, but if you're sitting, it could be through the base of your spine or through the soles of your feet. You may get a sense of that. And there seems to be quite a there's a sense of steadiness in that connection with the ground, that awareness of that energetic awareness. I should just explain what I mean with about grounding, actually. So grounding we produce excess positive charge in the body, and the ground actually releases negative charge. So when we walk around in bare feet, we are quite literally neutralizing ourselves. So this is what I'm playing with as an idea in the session from an energetic perspective. Okay, if in the days that follow, this, it's warm enough for you to take your socks off and to put your feet on the ground, that's really good for you for so many different reasons. If you're interested in this, there's a fantastic book and all the information, actually, loads of articles and research on the Earthing Institute's website. And so if that's of interest to you, I recommend you have a fish around there. Anyway, so we've got this steady sense of grounding. There's a link actually to the Earthing Institute from my website too, if you want an easier way of getting to it. On the resources page, I think it is. Anyhow, so we're at this steady sense of grounding. And then into the brain. And consciousness of processing what you're hearing. And the connection to the solar plexus and to the fear response as well. So we're bringing in small intestines energy here. So, both from a digestive perspective, but also from the wider picture perspective, they're to do with discernment, working out what's good for you or not, what's useful for you or not. And this is obviously particularly relevant at the moment where we're all being, where there's so much information coming at us from every direction. And it's to do with discerning what's useful for you and feels right for you. So we have very much this solar plexus sense of self coming in here as well. And back to this sense of grounding, this awareness of feeling steady. There's consciousness of hydration. So when hydration comes up in the sessions, it could, if you think, as I say that, oh, I don't think I drink enough, that's information for you to work with if you want to. The other thing is that when grounding comes up, hydration comes up, it's to do with a focus on adequate absorption at cellular level so that your cells can function optimally. Because somebody can be drinking tons of water but not absorbing what they need. So that's really the focus. But as I say, if you had an internal ping that you haven't been drinking enough, that's a message to you that you can act on to help your body. Okay, so there's now a focus on the brain and this whole whirring around, the whizzing, connecting to the anxiety and which is also connecting to the solar plexus, to your sense of self. So we've got sort of the brain and sense of self and anxiety all coming in here. And just allowing the breath and the sense of calm just to come back in, and the sense of grounding again. There's also consciousness of this period allowing you to see the bigger picture from a different perspective. And whatever that means to you, but it's like there's a consciousness of it being a time to reorganize your priorities. So there's consciousness of seeing this time as one of opportunity. Okay, so we've got light coming into the session now. So light always represents healing and potential to me in my sessions. And it's just a stream of light coming in. You can imagine it coming in through the top of your head and flowing down through your body and filling up your body. And simultaneously, there's this sense of grounding and steadiness. And there's a sense of warmth around your solar plexus, your sense of self. And there's a consciousness of letting go of that sense of busyness that had been whirring around your head. And the tightness in the chest. That not being able to breathe a nice full breath due to tension. There's a release of fear from the diaphragm, which is the muscle that pulls the lungs down and allows you to breathe nice and deeply. And when it's got its full range of movement and you're not, and the diaphragm is not tense, it's not holding tension, then it means when it expands with every breath, your organs get a great massage with every breath, and that helps them all function well as well. So, and your body's better oxygenated. So there's a massive knock-on. So this is what's happening with this release of excess fear that no longer serves you from the diaphragm. There's a focus now on the sacral chakra. For those of you who don't know about chakras, if you don't know about chakras, they are energy centers in the body, and they're lined up along the center of the body. And the sacral is the second one up. So it's just below your belly button. It goes right through the body as an energy center, but it's located, maybe a couple of finger widths below the belly button. So we've got this energy center coming up. And there's a focus of loving energy around it and consciousness of family. Okay, then we've got the pericardium. So there are two ways of looking at the pericardium. There is a physical layer around the heart to protect the heart called the pericardium. And we also have an energy channel, a meridian, which is the pericardium. And they're all to do with heart protection, both of them. So the focus here is on allowing optimal protection, which means not over or under protective, not too strong and not too weak. Okay, just the right amount of protection from the pericardium perspective in the body. And then we're back to focusing on your ears, but actually this time it's with a consciousness of listening to yourself, listening to your what you feel. Your internal traffic lights. I talk about these a lot in my sessions. You know, we have those flutters in the tummy, that sort of fleeting response that often in our head-centered world we ignore, but actually we can't go wrong if we follow them. So really this is to do with listening to your gut feelings, really. It's just a consciousness of a pause at the moment. I'm just holding the space. I'm just aware of energy running up and down the spine into the head and back down again. So that's also nerve messaging as well. And the circulation of the cerebral spinal fluid, which surrounds the head and the spinal column, the spinal cord. So it hydrates and it removes cell debris. Okay, now I'm aware of the back. It's just above the lumbar area in the center. This is really connecting through to both the solar plexus and your throat chakra. So as I've said, the solar plexus is all to do with your sense of self, your sense of personal power and receiving. But the throat is to do with self-expression and communication and giving. So you have that whole giving and receiving partnership coming up as well. And again, there's a sense of anxiety around these two. This fear response. So we're back to that phrase, I am safe. That's coming back in around all of this. And again, we've got light coming in. So this is healing and potential. It's supportive and loving, this light. And it's in the intention seems to be to help you get back to your sense of yourself, your calm, neutral, easy sense of yourself. That state of being. And just holding the space for this to do whatever it needs to. Then we've got the Aum coming in. So this is a bit like the yoga Om. It's a 3-sound combination. It's A, U, and each of them has a different resonance in the body. And the idea when it comes into a session is really that it's synchronizing the resonating vibrational qualities of the session with you. I mean, we are vibrational beings. So it's really to synchronize everything that's come up in the session with you. There's also a sense of balancing the masculine and feminine within us. We all have elements of both. And so we have this focus on balancing, as I say, the masculine and feminine aspects of you. And then we're back to the back. That's area that I was aware of just before, just above the lumbar region, the top of the lumbar, in the back, in the middle. And there's a sense of warmth coming in from that area and then gently spreading out throughout your body. And light again, this combination of these two. And consciousness of feeling peaceful. So that's physically, everything feels calm, emotionally, mentally, energetically as well. And then we've got grounding again, everything's settling. You've got the arm coming in around the heart center as well, again. So this is to synchronize everything with the heart field and with you in your entirety as well. And then bringing in into this, the awareness of discernment from your sense of hearing and of feeling steady on your feet and steady internally. My attention, this is a very gentle sense of flow down the body towards the soles of the feet and a consciousness of grounding again. Still a sense of settling, so I'm just allowing this to do what it needs, giving it the space. Allowing the weight of the world to drop off your shoulders. To step away from things you can't control. And then I'm aware of the lumbar region of the back and the sacrum and the back of the head. And again, we're back to this focus on circulation of the lymph, circulation of the blood. Circulation of the nerves and the energies around the body. And back to the sacrum again and the occiput. So the back of the head and the sacrum, they are actually a pair of points in the body that help each other out. Energetically and physically. And now we've got grounding again. And then back to the base of the spine again, around the sacrum. And the consciousness of releasing tension between the two areas, the back of the head and the sacrum. And grounding again. There we go. That was the end of the session. So I'll be holding these sessions weekly, 8 o'clock UK time on YouTube and Facebook. There will be a podcast from the audios, I hope, up and running today's by tomorrow lunchtime. And the podcast is available at Energy Healing with Amanda Weller, and it's already on quite a few platforms, but not all of them are set up. So if it's not there on your favorite platform, you can always come back to it and search, and it should pop up in the next little while. So if you've enjoyed this and you know somebody else who might, please do feel free to invite them to come along another time. If you'd like to book a session with me, you can contact me through my website, amandaweller.com. And it just remains for me to say thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join me. I really hope that this has been helpful. Do let me know, and I'll see you next time.